When I say the internet hits poor people, I don't mean the people on the internet are poor-phobic, although they are. That's not our focus for today. I'm varied, and we are here to talk about the system holding the internet. This system is not built for the poor, it's built for those ready to spend money. Newsflash. Each generation, we are getting poorer. The Gen Z so far has the highest number of people living in poverty in the United States. If 10 million American Gen Zs are confirmed to live in poverty, you best believe the number will be 5 to 10x in third world countries. With this many broke niggas on the internet, I think we have to talk about it. First of all, the internet service providers or telecommunication companies. I know this isn't an issue for everyone. People in Europe have a relatively cheaper internet as compared to their income. You just have to pay $40 and $3,000 per month. Going to have enough money to pay girls online to goon. Yeah, good. Although America's internet is more expensive than Europe's, they get by just fine, at least if you're not very poor. Now let's go to third world regions. We'll make this very quick. The average minimum wage for continents like South America and Asia, high end for Asia is $980 and for South America is $599. On the low end, for Asia it's $60 and for South America $190. Asia is really diverse, so their poor countries can be really poor and this could drag their statistics down. But Africa, high end is $200 and low end is $39. That's for the minimum wage. So imagine the average minimum wage in your region is $39. How the hell would you even want to pay for internet when you can hardly pay for food? Data shows only 38% of Africans are online. The fact that they are even online doesn't mean they have money. Unfortunately, being online should be a bare minimum criteria. The internet is clearly not built to accommodate poor people, and I'm not here to badmouth the companies. I'm just stating the facts. Is it too early to ask for a sub? If you're still here, please subscribe. At least you have to pay for that one. Now that we are done with telecommunication companies, let us go to actual uses of the internet and how it relates to poor people. Not everybody can access the internet. Not everyone can even afford to goon. Some people just beat it to their imagination. For the people who manage to afford the internet, how fair is it to them? Let's talk about modern gaming. As a gamer, I would love to talk about gaming and how it relates to this topic. Internet plays a major role in the gaming community. If you want to play a game, what do? You either download the game or get a physical copy. I mean, people that are still getting physical copies in 2025 might as well be using the newspaper. Now, my point is, imagine being poor. I want to play a game and you're saying $69 for a game. Wow, see, I fully understand. In fact, some games deserve this price tag because of how expensive it is to develop. But when you are struggling to eat, you will not understand this one. That's why we go. Internet we have managed to buy. Some of us will still use it to cut corners. Then we have online games. If you're wondering what the kryptonite of a poor gamer was, it's online games, because you're telling me that there is an anti-cheat system that checks if I've pirated the game. So because I choose not to buy your game, you're punishing me for it? If you manage to play a free game, you know what they will do? Don't make it pay to win. Clash Royale, for example. You see the way they added level 16? God is watching you people at Supercell. Even if you can afford all these games, do not make the mistake of living in a poor region. You will cry. Not only does Africa have the most expensive internet as compared to its minimum wage, internet is still the slowest. How do you want to compete online with these odds against you? Oh, that's not even the worst of it. Gaming companies always think of Africa last when they want to install their servers. Even as big as Fortnite is, there is no African server for it. Again, I'm not blaming the companies. We are all here to make profits, right? Obviously, Africa is not as profitable as other regions. If you thought being a poor gamer was hard, try being a streamer in a poor region. I'm pretty sure we all know of Speed, Hysenat, and the likes of SQC. What do they all have in common? They are all live streamers and they don't live in poor countries. Truth is, like everything listed here, live streaming is not for poor people. Without much yapping, let me make my stance very clear. Imagine you're an ambitious Nigerian guy looking for a way to make it. Then you decide to go live streaming on Twitch. Let me tell you how many odds you are going to have to beat in order to successfully do that. The very fact you are streaming means you have to have had an unlimited internet subscription. On average, an unlimited sub is about $20. Minimum wage in Nigeria is $48. I don't need to say more. If you can somehow afford enough internet, do not forget speed. Let me guess, for $20, your internet is not fast enough enough to live stream, right? How about you add $15 more to get higher speeds? Now let's talk about your audience. God helps you, Nigerians become your main audience. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with this, but remember the case of Twitch where someone has to pay to subscribe. Who is going to give you sub when you can barely afford food? Let's take Shank Comic for example, the biggest Nigerian streamer on Twitch. This is an assumption, right? But I strongly believe that his most profitable viewer base isn't from Nigeria, and Shank didn't get this big until he collabed with Kaisenat. The truth is, when you live stream from a poor region, and even as a poor person, the odds are stacked against you. Although the internet hasn't been built for the poor, there's still a silver lining. I would call it price variations per country. Subscription services have done a somewhat decent job in making subscriptions cheaper in poorer regions. This should be common knowledge by now. Companies like Spotify, YouTube, Netflix, and so on have made it cheaper for people in poorer countries to access their services. So that's a big win. In conclusion, the internet has still brought some of the greatest opportunities we've seen. People can now solely rely on the internet to make ends meet, and that's honestly what I am grateful for. But some people don't even have the luxury of these opportunities, and that's something to think about. Anyway, what do you think? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you next time, everyone.